Super Rugby Pacific Round 7 is done and dusted. In this video, I'll be going through who the top point scorers were in fantasy this round. We'll be going position by position as well, just to see who the movers and shakers are. Before that though, quick look at how my team went this week. Wasn't the greatest round for me personally. Obviously that huge upset by Moana Pacifica in Christchurch that really put a dent in Crusaders picks this week. I'm sure I wasn't the only one doing this. I went into this matchup really targeting it, thinking the Crusaders might put on a big cricket score at home. And yeah, I mean, Will Jordan, Macca Springer made him my captain this week. Those two only making the 40s. Not the end of the world, but not really what we were hoping for. I was hoping for it to be a repeat of that fixture against the Force where they just ran over them, got up to 100 points, but it was not to be. And look, I'm not mad, to be honest. I mean, that was pretty much a historical upset, one for the record book. So yeah, I'm not going to fret too much. Levi Almore, massive bust for me. David Havili got scratched late. I made just a direct swap for Levi Almore because he did move from the bench to starting. And yeah, just thinking that, you know, a guy like him, he might be able to run through that Moana defense, but it did not happen at all. James O'Connor, 36 points. Actually not too bad considering how that went. Rob Valentini, he was another huge bust for me. Only 7 points. That's pretty miserable. This Brumbies versus Highlanders game was actually quite close. I thought it would be as well. Despite it being close though, there was actually a lot of fantasy points on offer, but I did not get a piece of them. And yeah, Rob Valentini, he was my weakest pick going into this week as well. I was intending to change him out, but I didn't like the options I was looking at in the back row and I just never got around to it. Otherwise though, Hurricanes doing really well. I expected them to do well against the Waratahs, but I didn't expect them to look as good as they did. They were immense. They seem like they're really turning the corner, and I'm looking forward to picking more of their players going forward. Despite how well these players went though, there was more points on offer from the Hurricanes, and we'll talk about that in a bit. Other than that though, didn't invest much in that Reds game. Didn't think it would be close, but I knew it was going to be wet in Brisbane. It was, and yeah, that did put a damper on the scoring as well as literally. And other than that, two Waratahs picks, Bell and Suali'i, doing pretty decently for a game where the Waratahs only scored 12 points. So not too disappointed with those picks either. And Carlo Tizzano, top try scorer in Super Rugby, picking up yet another double. Not a huge amount of points considering, but look, the guy's pretty much a must pick, and I'm not going to complain. Anyway, moving on to the players. So here we have the top players in all positions for the round, and coming in at number 1, Kenny Naholo on a massive 102 points. What an absolute beast. And yeah, Kenny Naholo, he's a guy I was big on at the start of the competition, but then I really went cold on him because I picked him against the Andrua and I picked him against Moana Pacifica where he got a measly 11 points. And yeah, I was so disappointed by those picks, but after that he's just gone on to get these massive hauls, 52 and now 102, getting 3 tries. And yeah, it's really hard to ignore him now all of a sudden. I did have Ruben Love in my lineup, and yeah, 70 points, not too bad, but and Ruben Love, he was absolutely amazing that game as well. He was involved in everything. You can see this massive score for try assists and line break assists. He did not get a try himself, so this 70 is just pure contribution. And yeah, he played perfectly, but look, Naholo's the one. He's cleared him by 30 points. So Yeah, Kenny Naholo, he's the guy in the Hurricanes now. And like I said before, I do think the Hurricanes, they're turning the corner. They're going to start getting big results from here. And yeah, Naholo, he is a guy firmly back on the radar as a fantasy pick. And I mean, one thing this dynamic sort of makes more, it's been becoming more and more obvious every week as well, every single round, that the wings really are the ones who get the big points in fantasy. Like the fullbacks, no matter how well they play, they don't have that same ceiling. Like they're just not gonna do as well as the wings probably are. And yeah, look, we saw it again with the classic combo. Will Jordan, 71% of people have him, and look, we know how good he is. You can look at these massive scores, but actually if you compare him to Sevu Reece and all of these fixtures, Will Jordan's actually behind him in pretty much every single one except maybe one of these. I think it was the Reds when he got a double, and every other game Reece is ahead of him. And it's just the same dynamic across all these teams. You look at the Brumbies, Tula Muirhead here, whereas Tom Wright, he's not even in the top 13. So yeah, I'm thinking going forward, like it really is mainly gonna be about the wings. You really got to be favoring the wings over the fullbacks when you're making your picks. It's probably gonna pay off in the long run. But anyway, getting back to the list, second place, Caleb Tangitau, and he was so immense in that game against the Brumbies. Tough game, got 2 tries, but look at all these different points categories he's dipping into. Caleb Tangitau is playing so well right now, and it's not just about the fantasy points. I'm talking about in general. The guy, he is switched on. He is just identifying opportunities across the park. He's getting himself to where he needs to be to exploit them. And not only does he have that rugby awareness of what's happening across the whole park, he's probably the fastest guy in Super Rugby as well. If not, he's got to be so close, and he's got these insane skills as well. We saw him get away a crazy offload in that Brumbies game. He's got that 7 skill set to go with that awareness. And not only that as well, like he doesn't give up. He plays the full 80 minutes. If you watch this game against the Brumbies, the Brumbies, they made it a 2-score game with like 3 minutes to go. But Tangitau, he didn't give up. He went for it on that restart, and he ended up scoring before full time and gave the Highlanders a chance to steal it back with just minutes to go. So yeah, that type of dedication, like this guy, he is switched on. He's playing out of his skin. He's full of confidence, and yeah, like it's reflecting in fantasy as well. This huge 98-point haul in a losing effort is incredible. And I mean, that's kind of been his story. If you look at all these other fixtures as well, he's getting solid, amazing points even when there's not much on offer. So he's really kind of solidified himself, I think, as a really top tier pick. Like week in and week out, he's got to be a guy you're thinking seriously about putting in your team. And Jonah Nareki as well, getting 96 points. I mean, obviously he's been out most of the season, and he got the start here. I think he did actually start in this Hurricanes game. Yeah, not much went his way. Very low scoring game there, but he looked good in this game when he got the ball. Like, he's not like Tangitau. He's not off his wing, like finding the action, but when the ball comes his way, he's just really dangerous. He's beating defenders, and he's getting line breaks. I mean, look at this, 10 defenders beaten. That's crazy. 3 line breaks as well. Like, yeah, he's a really dangerous player, and I don't know, it's kind of hard to double down on picking lots of Highlanders, especially when Tangitau's there. But look, if the match is right, if they're against weak opposition, you probably would seriously think about it. And outside of these top 3, there's a bit of daylight We get Ruben Love next. I already talked about him. Yeah, 70 points. Great haul considering he didn't get a single try. But yeah, despite how amazing he played, like he's not up there at the top of the rest of them. I talked with these Brumbies players as well, Tola Muirhead. It's really hard to separate them. Like the Brumbies back three, they really spread the points around. But yeah, again, Tom Wright, he's not in the picture here at all. All the points the Brumbies got, it went the way of the wingers. And yeah, these are still your guys when you're trying to pick Brumbies, but it's so hard. Like week to week, you never know which one of them is gonna get the chockies. So yeah, that's one we'll need to think about in future. But we get our first player who is not a back three player in the form of Adi Sevilla on 60 points. And yeah, like we know how good Adi is. I kind of steered clear of him because yeah, I just thought they were going to get a hiding against the Crusaders. I didn't think they were going to get much of a look in, but I mean, you can't count Adi out. Like he went out there, he got 2 tries, he was huge. And yeah, like he could have been the difference. He really gives them the edge when Moana are in position. You know, the Crusaders, they were really defending them on the line quite a lot by the end of the game. Moana had so much time in the Crusaders 22, but yeah, Adi, he's one of those guys who can really capitalize on those opportunities, and that's exactly what he did in that game. And yeah, he remains an excellent back row pick, one I need to have more confidence in picking, even though I'm not necessarily sold on Moana. But yeah, I mean, this thing really turned things upside down, turned things on their head. And again, another Moana player, Patrick Pellegrini. I mean, this guy's so good. I knew he was good as soon as I saw him come off the bench in that Islanders game. Like, he's so much better than Garden Bishop. He's really single-handedly moved Moana forward. And yeah, 59 points this week. Obviously, there was a lot of conversions on offer. Got a try for himself as well. But yeah, just another guy that was sort of hard to go for just because it was that Crusaders matchup in Christchurch. But look, when D-Mac's not there, he's a guy we got to seriously consider, and it's not the first time he's been up there in that sort of fly half category rankings. And we're starting to get into the weeds a little bit here, so I'll probably switch over to looking at each position. But yeah, Sullivan, Punivai, great to see a midfielder get up into the 50s. The Hurricanes were just running rampant across the park in this game, and yeah, you can kind of say there's 5 Hurricanes in this top 13 here. That's more than any other team. So yeah, the Hurricanes, they were really running rampant, and that's how they like to play. They like to play an expansive game. They just need to have that forwards muscle to play off of, and that's what they got in this Waratahs game. And yeah, if they keep it up going forward, I mean, they will be contenders again. But looking at the positions, I mean, we already talked a lot about the back three. Not a whole lot else going on here except to, you know, notice that the Crusaders didn't do a lot this week. I think we do have a clear hierarchy here though. Springer, Jordan, and then Fihaki. That's when you're picking a Crusader, that's probably your order of preference. Severis obviously didn't pay this week. He's by far and away my number 1 pick if I have to choose a single Crusader. And I mean, Will Jordan's always going to be good as well. But yeah, I talked about this earlier with the fullbacks and the wingers. Like, if the matchup's right, if it's a matchup where I think a lot of tries are going to be scored, I probably would consider just going Reese and Springer if I did want 2 Crusaders anyway. Yeah, Tavatavanawa, he was really good in that game, and Highlanders got a lot of fantasy points in that game, but he got one of his lowest scores here. Yeah, I keep saying this about this guy every week, still 20% of people picking him. Like, he's just, when he's at 12, he's not gonna get heaps of points. He's got a low ceiling, and yeah, every week that sort of gets reinforced. A lot of reds down here. I said in my best picks video that the forecast for Brisbane was rain, so I did stay clear of all these Reds back, and that was absolutely the right decision. Dalgunu actually played pretty well, did get a try, but yeah, not a lot to show for it in terms of fantasy points. And moving on to the midfield. Top was obviously Balin Sullivan with that 55 points. Lena Kitao came second, and yeah, look, we know Kitao, he is the real deal. Got one try this week. Suali'i came in third. That was quite nice to see actually. We've only seen Suali'i play once in round 1. He's been injured the rest of this time. He's finally back. He was supposed to start at centre at 13 but got forced to move out to fullback after a injury in the Waratahs. He moved to fullback very early, and yeah, we can see he still did quite well in terms of fantasy considering the Tars only got 12 points and there really wasn't a lot of opportunity on offer for them, so that's pretty good for Suali'i to show up third under those circumstances. Not a lot going on otherwise though. Everyone else sort of in that 20 to 30 range, which is not very impressive at all. All of them are 12s as well from the looks of it, so yeah, I mean, that's something to think about as well. The 13s do tend to do better than the 12s just in general, and they do have a bit more space to play with, so that does sort of make sense. Yeah, really should have gone Ikitau this week instead of Almoa, only getting 7. He did get subbed, but yeah, look, nothing was happening for him, whatever happened. Fly half, Pellegrini, he was the top. Riley Hohepa, 40 points, he was second. I mean, look, he had a decent game, but honestly, he did probably squander a couple of opportunities as well. So yeah, could have been a lot more on offer here. And I do think he is sort of the weak point of this Hurricanes team, which otherwise at the moment is looking super strong. They got a lot of guys back from injury. All they need back now is Billy Proctor and they'll be full strength. But yeah, it all depends on how well Hohepa holds up. Interested to see how he goes in a tougher game, but yeah, if he can get into form, the Hurricanes, they are back. And yeah, James O'Connor did end up being a pretty good pick in the end for the slot, 3rd position, even though he didn't have the best game. Wasn't much difference between him and Tom Liner, 35 points, pretty good in the wet conditions. Willie Havili only getting 34 points, which is kind of surprising. He's been so good for them, and he was good that game as well. And he's been really good even in tough matchups. So yeah, a little bit surprising there, but look, that's just how it goes. Sometimes the points don't come your way, especially when you're in the outside backs. And yeah, we'll have a look at the halfbacks next. Nathan Hastie was actually number 1 halfback, and this is kind of surprising. Roigard only got 35 points, which is kind of low by his standards, and that was surprising just because of how well that game was going for the Hurricanes, and he got a try as well. So yeah, all the play, I guess it was just happening away from the rucks, like they just had the space to operate in out wide, so that's where the ball went. And look, that just meant there was less on offer for Roigard. Still pretty good though, 2nd position, can't complain about that. Noah Hotham was a guy I thought would go well. He's a guy that loves to snipe around the ruck, and we did see that this game, but yeah, didn't add up a lot for him in the end. And look, that's just what happens when the matchup goes against you. Not a lot happening for the Reds halfbacks here, but yeah, those are pretty wet and miserable conditions, so not much to say about that. And looking at the loose forwards, Adi Sevilla, he was number 1 on 60 points. Already talked about him, can't count out Adi. Braden Iyose came second, 50 points. I've been really bullish on this guy since his form last year. I picked him a lot in the earlier rounds, which really didn't pan out, but he was full of running in this game, and he had so much enthusiasm as well once things got rolling for the Canes. So yeah, I'm hoping their form keeps up and Yosei, he could emerge as the number one pick for the Hurricanes, I think. I'm a big fan of these Hurricanes back rowers, but they're really not getting a lot of points to show for it. Karufi, only 33 this week. Pretty quiet game by his standards, actually. He's been so important for the Hurricanes in pretty much every other game, but this one, not a lot going on for him. Did make a lot of tackles though, but just not a lot with ball in hand. And was even worse for Lakai, who's another guy I like, but yeah, only 23 points. Obviously did get subbed for Brad Shields. But yeah, I like this Hurricanes back row, but it is kind of hard to pick which one to go with. I'm hoping Iose becomes that guy though. And otherwise, not a lot going on elsewhere. Blackadder, only 22 points, played the whole game, and I keep talking about this guy every week. Like, he's so busy but has so little to show for it. And yeah, he made 1 million tackles, but yeah, I talked about this in my best picks video because he just does so little with ball in hand. He gets these really low scores. Still 10% of people have him selected though, so yeah, really bad option to go with, as is Rob Valentini as well. I really should have switched off him, but yeah, he's the sort of guy, he does a lot of carries, but he's just getting that extra meter of game line. He's not breaking the line, he's not getting offloads. One thing he can do that he does have in his favor is when the Brumbies are grinding away on your line, he can be that battering ram that'll get over the chalk, and he does score tries in that respect. But yeah, did not happen this game, and when that doesn't happen, he's a very bad pick. Getting into the type 5 now, the locks, really nothing happening in this category this week. 28, the highest score by Fabian Holland, and yeah, a lot of people in this sort of 20 to 30 range. Literally nothing happening here. You didn't miss out on much. And yeah, that's just how lock goes. We'll have a look at the hookers though. Al Moore was the top hooker this week, and I was really happy to be able to pick him his first start of the season. And when he got 45, I was kind of hoping for a little bit more because he did get the try and he is quite good around the park. But as it turns out, he was the top pick for the round anyway, so really cannot complain. Moananu, I'm a fan of this guy as well, just because he's so busy around the park as well. He's full of running and he's got that stocky frame where he can get turnovers as well. The way this game played out, I mean, he got the try, but yeah, things weren't going that well for the Crusaders, so he didn't get a higher score. But one thing I do like is no line-out errors at all for him. Same with Almoa as well, 0 line-out errors. So yeah, they're definitely both guys that I will be looking at as serious options going forward in the rounds as well. And looking at the props, not a lot going on except for Tom Robertson getting 50 points this round. I don't know if you watched this game between the Force and the Reds, but what happened was he got a try, but he had to run about 40 meters for it. So he got this line break as well, and it was pretty funny to watch because I'm pretty sure he was gassed after it. But yeah, that's the story there. 51 points for Tom Robertson, a bit of an outlier. Don't pick him on this basis, just from this round alone. He's always been a good pick though, and I have picked him actually most weeks. So this week I didn't, because I kind of thought Hodgman might turn the screws on that 4 scrum. Kind of happened, but not really. Either way, yeah, I should have just stuck with my boy Robertson, like I did with Angus Bell. Again, high up the list, 27 points. Alatoa's got a pretty good score again, but again, he got a try just like last week. So I wouldn't bank on that continuing to happen, and if Alatoa doesn't get a try, he's just not a good option at all. Unlike these other props like Angus Bell, who will get similar scores without scoring a try, and Namir as well, also another favorite pick of mine. But yeah, that'll pretty much do it for every position this week, guys. I hope that things went well for you. Not so great for me, but we stay at it. Don't forget, Thursday, next Best Picks video will be coming out. Subscribe if you want to see that when it pops up. But otherwise, I hope you have a good week, and I'll see you next time.